They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Daga, and this portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
I popped up the applause there. I hope you heard that because I love doing the show with you, Haley, my Chujunk here, because I'm right once a day. Oh,
right. What? Yeah, I know. And you're right about that, too.
That's funny. Hey, so we, as sports fanatics ourselves, and I'm not such a big basketball fan. I haven't been since probably 20 years ago when they were last in the playoffs.
Right.
They have really a good run going here. And what a game last night. Wendy and I were like, wow, this is really exciting.
I know. Yeah, that might have been the full Wolf game that I've probably watched my entire life.
You're more of a hockey, baseball, football person, right? Not in that
kind
order.
of. Yeah, and it's like I will go out and say I've totally hopped on the bandwagon. I ran after the bandwagon on this one.
Yeah.
And here I am rooting for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I have to go find my old jersey. I have a jersey from probably the 89 or 90 when they first got here. You know, what's interesting, we talked a little bit about before the show, and, the states, the team's called the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. And our Republican relatives want to kill them all their Timberwolves up here. So it's kind of a bizarre thing to have a sports team named after this, and maybe half the fans wanting to kill Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm. I know it is. It's very, I think just I don't know, the word is
oxymoron.
Yeah, kind of. Something like that, right? Because we talk about Howling for Wolves, one of our really great, amazing longtime sponsors with Dr. Maureen Hackett leading that, amazing group. And it's like we had just had Wolf Day at the Capitol where we went and talked to our senators, our representatives, asking them to help vote to save our Minnesota wolf populations. And for those, maybe who don't know, Minnesota is the only state in the lower continental United States where we've always had a wolf population, and they've never left.
Yeah. Well, the oxymoron thing for me too is we've been fighting mascots that are derogatory towards Native people too. And here we celebrate wolves here, or we always talk about our lieutenant governors in the Wolf Clan, like we're in the Eagle Clan, and there's 11 clans and 12 clans in the Ho-Chunk Nation, and they're very similar in other tribal nations across Turtle Island. But we have the Blackhawks, and we had the Redskins, which was just mind-blowing that team. And, Cleveland kind of took it upon themselves, maybe saw the writing on the wall and changed their name and that goofy mascot to the Guardians now. But we still have the chop with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know the networks don't show that, but you can definitely hear it in the background. And it's disgusting. And there's other sports teams out there, too. So it's bizarre that we have the Timberwolves and, half the legislative population wants to, kill them all.
Right. Yeah, it's very, I don't know. It's confusing. But anyways, hopefully we can, spread the word with, how well our Minnesota basketball team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, are doing, and kind of bring awareness around our wolf population because, it's like, you hear about the Timberwolves and everyone's going to wear the wolf on their jersey or whatever, however you're going to represent the Timberwolves. But then it's like, how could you support them, but then not support our wolf population?
Big question out there. Everyone should be pondering listening to this show. Really, it's mind blowing. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about our guests today. We have Wendy with her sacred animal portion, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But we have somebody that I've looked up to for many, many years. And she's the main character in a documentary called, it's called Warrior Women. And it's the history stories of Madonna Thunder Hawk from the 70s till today. And that came out in 2018. And I've gotten to see and hang out with 2 years ago on the 50th anniversary of the Wounded Knee occupation. I got to hang out with her and her family and the people from the Warrior Woman Project. During that 4 or 5 days I was down there, and just had a lot of hoots and a lot of fun things. But she's the real deal, and she's, I think she's like 82 now, or 83 or 84, it says on Wikipedia, which she has a big Wikipedia page. And she's doing great. I saw her like 4 years ago when she was 80 or 79 on a horse at the Wounded Knee anniversary celebration. But let me just give you a couple little tastes here. Thunderhawk is part of the Red Power movement from 69 to 71 that occupied Alcatraz. And for people that don't know about that history, there's a federal law in there that any federal land that's not occupied for a certain length of time, like the prison Alcatraz Island, would be given back to the tribe. So they took it over and wanted to turn it into an area of learning. And but the Red Power movement, which was the precursor to the American Indian movement, led that occupation. She was also involved with 2 occupations of Mount Rushmore at the Black Hills, and talking about the 1868 Treaty of Fort Laramie, and really fighting that on. She established We Will Remember Survival School for Indian youth. Of course, she was a big part of the American Indian movement when they took over. Wounded Knee, and one of the things was she had to be low key about it because she had been in a court situation from last actions that she was involved with. So she was low key. She was one of the medics. And as we know, some people died at the occupation of Wounded Knee, and she was there for that. Also, just recently, Dakota Access Pipeline, the No DAPL movement, she was there the whole time, got to meet her there. We're just totally blessed to have these warriors still with us, Haley, that, I love history, and she is history.
Yeah. No, that's, wow. Yeah. She is history. And for 82, she's looking really good. Madonna, as like any young activist, like not even a Native activist, but just being like a younger person who has looked up to Madonna and other matriarch leaders such as herself. Yeah, I mean, she's really paved the way for a lot of this work, for us to even be here, really. And it's just amazing that she's still here, so we can, ask how she would like to see things move forward in the future with our younger generations coming up and carrying the way.
Yeah, and Marcella Gilbert, her daughter, is always with her now, and she was young. She's roughly the same age as I am, maybe just a little older or younger, but she grew up in this whole movement, and they're still trying to help our young ones. And I know it's in the forefront of their mind, and it always has been, and that's been a part of their being active and all these things over the years is because of our children. And it'll be fun to listen from her and talk to her. And she does pretty well. She's kind of a technology and she needs her daughter to set her up, but we're excited. We're going to have her up next. Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. Attention, Native American community. As we prepare for American Indian Celebration Month in Minnesota this May, it's essential to prioritize the health and safety of our communities. With social gatherings and festivities on the horizon, getting vaccinated against COVID-19 is crucial. So let's make getting vaccinated a tradition, inclusive, and cross-generational. Imagine gatherings filled with shared stories and cultural celebrations free from the shadow of COVID-19. Remember, protecting yourself and others is what counts. Whether it's time for an updated vaccine or your first shot, all COVID-19 vaccines offer protection, with the latest vaccine especially recommended for our elders over 65. As we gather with friends and relatives this May for American Indian Celebration Month, let's ensure everyone's safety by getting vaccinated. Together, we can uphold our traditions and keep our communities thriving. For more information, including details about clinics offering free vaccines, visit vaccines.gov. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Wow, am I excited to have this guest on today, Madonna Thunder Hawk, who is a original OG. When we talk about OGs, we talk about Madonna Thunder Hawk. I just want to give a quick bio here, just an overview for our listening audience out there in Indian country and all over Turtle Island. Madonna has been with the Red Power movement and with the occupation of Alcatraz in 1969 to 1971. American Indian movement, survival schools, she was at Wounded Knee, but she was very low key in Wounded Knee. Well, we can maybe talk about that in a little bit. And then a lot of other things, all the way up to Line 3 here. And, we're at Standing Rock. We're doing all those things. And Madonna, thank you so, so much for coming on Native Roots Radio.
Wow, thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Yes, really good to see you. I know there's so much stuff going on right now, and it's got to be hard to take, as you've been an activist for so long, to take 2 steps back and 3 forward. Sometimes it seems like, but I just get chills when I talk to you because of all the great work that you and your family have done over the years, and you are the original OG. So thank you, Peeny Gigis. Thank you so much for being on again.
Well, I'm here. I'm still hanging in there.
So there's a lot going on now, and how does that make you feel when we see all these things like what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in North and South Dakota with the governors and with the laws? Tell us how are you getting along with this?
Well, with me, it's just like continuation, of events or happenings. The issues never change for us, so, the local tribal politics is, basically the same issues, but things happen, things move along. The state, in the past, we were always, you know, didn't have much to do with the state politics or state government. And as I remember back in the day, they were the enemy camp, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know, there's politics changes, you know. So yeah, we have a governor now, and she's kind of, I mean, you take in the whole Trump thing, MAGA, and all that. You know, she's part of that. So, but that's just one of the things that we have to deal with. You know, as Indian people nationwide. You know, it's just politics of this country, the United States. So, to me, that's the way I look at it. It's just a continuation. So nothing surprises me. Nothing's a heavy duty. You know, to me, it's all a battle. You know, it's all the war is long. You know, and the battles vary.
Right, exactly. You know, with the governor of South Dakota, there's reservations that are doing the right thing and banning her. You know, Christie's likes killing dogs for no reason, and I guess horses too. And I just have to put tobacco out for you guys all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that old frontier mentality. You know, that the colonizers, mentality, settler mentality. You know, it never changes. You know, time changes, but a lot of that mentality just sticks. You know.
Well, it's kind of like the 60s and 70s when you first started doing activism, that the right wing and really have no filter, and they say whatever they want. And then we had a period of time where they went underground, but then after Trump became president, they all seem really bold and to say all their racist stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. You know, that's, again, the settler mentality, you know. Colonizers, you know, how else are they going to think, you know? My attention and my focus has always been with our people, you know. Our people, nationwide, you know. And how we're still all in resistance and still existing. Yeah. So that's the focus I've made over the years. And that's why people, especially younger people I do interviews with, college students and stuff, Native young people, they want to know, what did you do? Why did you become an activist? What happened, you know? And to me, I look back and I think that's the difference in thinking, you know, from one generation to the next. It's, in my day, it was kind of like an obligation. I mean, that's how we looked at it, you know. And you do what you can on whatever degree you can, you know. You don't all have to be on the front lines or all be, you know, it's however you're living your life, raising children and doing the best you can. That's resistance, the way, you know, we look at it back in the day, you know. So, yeah, that, you know, so to me, the issue is still the same. It's just how each, you know, era, each generation handles it, you know, what they do.
You know,
I'm glad that I'm still here to see.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, I imagine. One of the things I really hold on dearly with the conversations I've had with you in the past is I always asked you, how did you get so much done? And you always said there was less people making decisions. And my job's in Native government, and I can see that in black and white because nothing gets done, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then any work you're going to do and get involved in, to me, it's always helped to just, you know, keep it as simple as possible. And if it's if your work is community-based, that takes care of a lot of the, you know, the distractions or the turmoil that comes along a lot of times, you know. Community organizing is, you know, to me is important, the best mover because it's community first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really helps move things.
So what excites you now? I mean, you know, your grandkids, your daughter's really involved. I've met your son. You know, you guys are the OGs, and really we need to listen to you. And I'm so happy that you're on the show again.
Well, you know, I guess I'm just kind of used to my family. I mean, you know, we all we all know what's expected. It's expected of us as a family. So, and the younger ones that were raised that way anyway. So it's just kind of like normal situation, to be involved and to be doing things. But my excitement, I think, for me personally, is to see what's happening in Indian country and how our people are reacting to things. Not just tribal governments, but the people in general. Mm-hmm. For example, what's going on with our tribal chairmen's associations, etc. And the organization Indian Collective. Those younger people have just been a part of for example, the Black Hills whole issue. Mm-hmm. A land back. And they're mm-hmm. helping to organize and to move ahead what the tribal councils have been not tribal councils, the treaty councils have been trying to do for the past, 40, 50 years, right. Is to get something real going. And now with the help of the organizing and financial backing of Indian Collective, we're able to put together legislation for mm-hmm. the national legislation for the return of the Black Hills, So right. That's a major for me.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm excited.
That's awesome. And if people don't know that are listening, that they tried to the government tried to pay for the Black Hills, and the money was rejected, and because we can't give away our sacred lands like that, and that's exciting to hear, Madonna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. So, as elders, we all go when they have the meetings. We're invited, and we go and we sit in and listen, and they always ask our opinion. These young people are dynamic. Indian Collective are just amazing. That's what I always tell them. That's what this is what we wanted back in the day. This is what we were fighting for. For our people to be aware and to make a stand, on whatever level. And that's exactly what's going on. It's amazing.
Yeah, they've been supporting a lot of organizations monetarily and grant-wise. And those guys, those brothers that started it originally are doers. I saw them July 4th a few years ago when Trump was president. That was awesome. That was all over Facebook Live and YouTube, and mm-hmm. they're doers.
Yep, they grew up in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Madonna, we're going to take a break here in a minute, but I want to just remind you, was it 4 years ago I saw you down at Wounded Knee for that celebration, and you were on a horse, and I'm going, that's crazy. It's crazy. I got a picture of it. You're a true warrior, and we're going to take a quick break and talk a little bit about the documentary about warrior women, and really just to relax and have a good time here with you.
Okay, good enough.
Right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we're here with the original OG Madonna Thunder Hawk. We'll be right back after this short break.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a go-to card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. That's 612-373-3333.
Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas is your pathway to a bachelor's degree. Located in downtown Minneapolis, Doherty Family College offers an affordable education that includes free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass. As a full-time Doherty Family College student, you'll benefit from mentorship from St. Thomas faculty, along with paid internships and support from Minnesota's largest private college. Ready to turn your dreams into reality? Apply now at dfc.stthomas.edu. Doherty Family College. Your journey to success starts here.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a
You
left.
are not going to
then
believe
what you're
this.
going to do is turn
Marcy
onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue
just broke up,
and go past
and apparently
the first 3
she's
lights,
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
Then
think
drive
she's
5 more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who am
there.
I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
that's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
This message is brought to you by Strong Hearts Native Helpline. Did you know that there is a free culturally appropriate helpline for Native Americans and Alaska Natives affected by domestic or sexual violence? If you're hurting in your relationship and want to talk, advocates are available 24/7. Call or text 1-844-762-8483, that's 1-844-7-NATIVE, or chat online at strongheartshelpline.org. Safe, anonymous, confidential. Strong Hearts Native Helpline.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, this is Angela Warner for Warner Stellian, and for a while now you've been hearing me talk about how Warner Stellian has appliances for every budget, and yet there's still some people out there that think that because of our beautiful showrooms, our expertly trained sales staff, and our professional delivery and installation crews that we must be more expensive than our competition. And you know what? They cannot compete with us on value, but we definitely compete with them on price. Like right now, you can save up to 50% instantly and get an up to extra 10% back. So give us a try at one of our 10 Minnesota locations or at warnerstellian.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Rain possible tonight with a low of 59, then showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 72. The music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition. We're here with Madonna Thunder Hawk, the one and only legend here with us. And Madonna, I just have this question that, I'm burning to ask you. We talk about the younger generations coming up as activists, and, I'm a Gen Zer, so kind of fresh out of college, and we're talking about people who maybe have been raised in the culture, in the Native culture, and grown up with their elders. But like myself, I feel like we're kind of, in our family at least, trying to bring the culture back and a lot of the stuff that we've lost. What kind of advice do you have, or what would you like to continue seeing this next generation of Natives and Gen Zers in their work of activism?
Well, sometimes I think about that, about how things are done nowadays, in comparison to where we were at in our day, and of course times change, the issues remain, but it's, a different generation. So I was thinking about that, and I noticed that in modern day now, it seems like the activism is more event, oriented, rather than the good old community organizing. I mean, the community, going to community meetings, practically door-to-door stuff. That's how we did things back in the day. Of course, the communications were different. We didn't have the cell phones and all that. So I think this generation kind of depends on that now.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on social media more than real interactive, So I noticed that, I say, well, the first thing, an issue comes up, well, let's have a meeting to plan an event, and I'm like, wait a minute, But again, it's not my generation, so I feel like as elders, we have to kind of listen and pay attention and support.
Absolutely. And I know in your day, there wasn't a lot of activists wearing ribbon skirts because it was hard to run with those on.
Yeah.
We give them extra leg room.
Yeah, we wore the shirt. We wore the shirts, because we were all on foot. A lot of barricades,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely. So that's kind of a different era too. I mean, we see beautiful ribbon skirts, but we kind of joked about that last time we saw each other. It's like, oh, it's hard to run in those away from the police.
That's so funny because I know now, like I always add extra leg room in my ribbon skirt or the one I just made, and then I know friends who give a couple inches because they always say it's a joke too, just in case you got to run, pull your skirt up a little bit.
Well, and now they get pockets in them, Madonna, and that was never a thing. And pockets are handy.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we didn't wear them, So I think it's cool, They look good. Everybody looks good, and it's kind of a signature, Everybody's wearing them, so that's good, But separation between activism and and how things are done nowadays. Nobody's on barricades anymore these days. It doesn't happen that way. So skirts are fine.
Oh, I want to get a ribbon.
We wore the.
I want to get ribbon jeans. I've seen a few people wearing those. How would I look in those? Oh,
really? That's cool.
Yeah. So, how is Warrior Women and the Warrior Women Project? I know you're heavily involved in, and there's a great documentary out there about some of the work that you've done and the people you've worked with over the years. What's going on with the Warrior Women Project?
Well, right now we're working on getting the matriarch portion of the like we did the documentary in. But the main thing is all the interviews and the foundation of the work that went on. That affects what's going on today. It's always been what the matriarchs did, and so that we're working with getting curriculum written up, that type of thing, for schools, for organizations, whatever, media, but also mainly for the educational system, so that because those women were history makers,
Yeah.
And thankfully we have the interviews, so we can do something with them. So that's kind of what Warrior Women Project is doing right now.
Well, what's exciting, Haley and Madonna, is what I've learned over the years with the Warrior Women Project is that all these things that you hear historical were run by the women, and that's one thing that sometimes slips through the fingers because you see, like with Wounded Knee, you had a couple people as spokespeople in the front, and the media kind of fell in love with, but the real work was happening behind the scenes, right, Madonna?
Mm-hmm. And it's a traditional thing. It's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the camp was the domain of the women, and matriarchal domain. So it's just it's filtered down to today. That's the way it is, So it's not an issue with, men, women, whatever, who should be talking, who should be. And organizing is work. So that kind of tells you right there, right up, Organizing it takes a lot of work. Also, naturally, it's a domain of matriarchy, that's where it started and that's where it still is. So, but that's all right, because we're always looking at the results, what's it all for, So it doesn't matter how we get there, or who's got the mic or who doesn't, Let's get the work done and let's get the issue taken care of.
That's why
That's
I always
what I like about Indian Collective. The young people, the Indian Collective, that's the way they are, It's good mixture of young men and women, and they're dynamic, I'm just so proud of them.
Yeah, that's why I like talking to you, to remind us in a good way and remind our listeners how things are and have been and will be. And I really appreciate you bringing that up. What would you like to be remembered as or by? How would you like people to remember you?
I want to be remembered for following the footsteps of our ancestors, what they sacrificed and everything, so we could be here, and that I tried, I tried to do something. I didn't just sit back, Yeah.
Well, you have done something.
Honor
our ancestors, and you have done something. And I think what I'll always remember of you and your family and your daughter and everyone around you is how fun we always have when we see each other.
I know. That's a good part. That's the good part.
Natives have that great sense of humor.
And I think it's just kind of natural among our people, whatever, it doesn't matter what, native nation you're from, what tribe, the humor is what keeps us together, because you go anywhere in conferences or gatherings or celebrations, it's always the humor that you start out right away. That's how you make friends, and wherever you go in Indian country.
Yeah.
Part of our survival tactics.
Exactly. And that's one of the good things that's been handed down in our family and everyone in Indian country. And so we're always kind of curious when you see somebody that's native and not, and it doesn't have a sense of humor. You go, oh, I got to stay away from this person. Bad medicine.
True.
Well, Madonna, what else would you like to talk about? We have like a minute left, and I know Indian Collective is really big on your mind, and also the Black Hills. What can you tell us, any update about the Black Hills, where that's at? And it sounds like Indian Collective is working on that land back.
Yeah, well, the legislation is being formed, the meetings, the big meeting they held, months back, I think in February anyway, committees were formed, and it was just organized and moving along. It wasn't just a bunch of elders and concerned people sitting around talking about the issue. With the help of the Indian Collective, it's organized and moving ahead, and the legislation is being written and being put together so that we can, go to Congress, and it's so strong because the Black Hills is part of the 1868 treaty, one of the, and how there is no title anywhere for that land. The state doesn't have it, the feds don't have it, the colony, nobody has it except us. the 1868 treaty, which was ratified by Congress, so it makes it the law of the land. So with this legislation, it's a reminder that the U.S. government needs to obey their own laws.
Absolutely.
And that the Black Hills, we're talking about the federal land, so you know how the non-natives get scared right away. They're still scared of us, because of the land, that, oh, do they want to take my car, my home, my this, my that? We don't want what you have. Good grief.
Right.
We're talking the federal lands entitled, so you won't be paying county taxes anymore. You may be paying to the Ochete Chacoin,
Mm-hmm. Well, Madonna,
it's hard for them.
Yeah, it really is. Madonna, I just want to say a big Peenagigi thank you so much for being on Native Roots Radio. It's great to see you and great to see your daughter there helping out. And let's talk really soon.
Yeah.
All
Glad
right.
to be here. You take care, man.
Ho!
Stay strong.
All right, you stay strong too.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program or TAP is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a go-to card with a full year of discounted ride. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. That's 612-373-3333.
As we gear up for American Indian Celebration Month in May, it's crucial to prioritize our health, especially with celebrations on the horizon. If you start feeling off, like a fever, a tickle in the throat, or heavy fatigue, don't ignore it. Take an at-home COVID-19 test right away. And remember, if you're not feeling well, it's okay to stay home. Your health comes first. A quick note on COVID testing. The Minnesota Department of Health's free COVID-19 at-home testing program has ended. But don't worry. If you're uninsured, you can still find no-cost tests using the CDC's COVID-19 testing locator. If you have health insurance, you might be eligible for free tests or reimbursement for testing expenses. Just ask your local pharmacy or health insurance provider for more information. Stay informed. Stay protected. Let's prioritize our health this American Indian Celebration Month in May and ensure our communities and elders remain safe and healthy. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health. Visit health.state.mn.us.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. Howl!
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awakened. This is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. Ow! Hey, producer Haley Cherry with you now. I want to quickly introduce Wendy Pilot with a brand new Sacred Animals segment. Go ahead and take it away, Wendy.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Haley. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level, and it's always my pleasure to do that. You know, I get a lot of phone calls and messages about where to adopt animals, or how could I help? And a lot of people think that the Humane Society of the United States adopts out cats and dogs and other animals, but they don't. What we actually do is we work on laws, and we lobby at our legislator, and I go to our Minnesota state capitol and I talk to my city council member, I talk to my House representative, I talk to my senators, and we present humane laws that we want to have in place here in Minnesota. And this goes on all over the United States because there are humane policy volunteer leaders for the Humane Society of the United States all over the country. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, and it's a lot of fun, sometimes it's heartbreaking because you don't always get what you want because it's politics, right? But it's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. You work with a lot of like-minded people. Like, for instance, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of people who care about animals, and I have a friend in my district, and we go to the state capitol often a lot together and present these laws and ordinances that we want to have put in place. So a lot of times when a bill is put in front of a legislator or a House representative to vote on, they don't really know much about it. So our job is to just educate them and say, we want your support on this bill, or we want you not to support this bill because of these reasons. So that's our job. So the Humane Society of the United States, it's confusing because you have your local Humane Society that does adopt out pets, right? And you can go there to the shelter to get your furry friend, your furry animal. It's funny. I'm going to change the subject here, but the other day, Robert was texting me. He was outside in the front of the house, and I'm going to try to look something up right now. But he was like, Wendy, there's this really friendly kitty cat out in the front. And Robert was picking him up and holding him, and he was such a friendly, nice cat. Oh, I got it right here. So anyway, his name is Goliath. He was a big orange and white cat, really, really super friendly. And he had a little tag around his neck that said that he's an indoor-outdoor cat. The tag is a little bit worn off, so I couldn't read everything, but I took a picture of it because I wanted to look at the phone number on his tag because I wanted to just call his owner to let him know, let the owner know that Goliath was at our house, and he was kind of laying on our front stoop and was kind of like rolling around, you know how cats do, kind of like rubbing his back and whatever. And I noticed that he still had his parts. I'm just going to say that. I noticed that Goliath still had his parts. So what I want to do is hope that Goliath comes back, because what I want to do is I want to call the owner and ask if Goliath could get neutered, because this is kitten season right now. And if there's another person out there that has a female cat and decided that, spaying her was not an option or for whatever reason, to please do that. And I don't know how I would do that without getting into an argument, but I do have a lot of facts here that I could share. So a fertile female cat can give birth 4 to 5 times a year. That's a lot. Each litter averages between 4 and 6 kittens. And just 2 weeks after giving birth, female cats can go into heat again. So this is a cycle that can really, produce a lot of cats. So, and we have enough cats in the shelters, right? Right now in the United States, the last statistics that I heard was each person in the United States, not families or households, each person has to have 7 cats each to combat the homeless cat population in the United States. And each person in the United States has to have 4 dogs each to combat the homeless dog population in the United States. So if you don't want 7 cats and you don't want 4 dogs each, we really need to, neuter and spay every animal to combat this. Kittens can get pregnant as young as 4 months old. So around 1,000 cats are euthanized each year because there's just not enough people to take care of these animals. So I just want to ask everyone to spay and neuter your cat. I'm going to try to get in touch with, I'm hoping the cat comes back because I don't have a good picture of his tag with the phone number on it. So I want to get that phone number. I just want to give the owner a call and just say, your cat's been over our house. He's super cute and super friendly. But there's a lot of controversy out there as well as to should cats be just house cats or should cats go outside? Now, I think if your cat goes outside, it should be supervised and maybe have a bell or something on its collar to alert birds because cats kill a lot of birds every year. They also kill other wildlife. We saw Goliath looking at our chipmunk. We have a chipmunk that lives under our stoop, so maybe that's why he comes over. He wants to get our little chippy. So we'll see if Goliath comes back, and we will ask the owner to please have him neutered. If I saw what I saw correctly, because I don't really look at a lot of cats' private parts, but it looked like Goliath needed a little snip, if you know what I mean. So anyway, with that, Robert and Haley, back to you. And please spay and neuter all your animals. Bob Barker used to say that when he did The Price is Right. So back to you guys.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Wendy. Always really great, helpful information that I knew nothing about. So really appreciate that. Big Pinagigi. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be back tomorrow. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, let them sing and let them drum, and free Leonard Peltier. Now.
I've been driving in my Indian car to the pound of the wheel.